Oh, wow. I just did a nice
How you guys
back
doing?
crack. Good, man. Good.
You want to keep going?
Dude,
You want to be
let's
done?
Go
for
till we
anything,
can't, man.
I'm
Let's
good.
go
I'm
till we
down
can't.
for whatever we
You
want
know me.
to
I can
do.
talk until the
Dude,
cows come home.
I can do it too, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, let's get weird here. Let's talk about
Hell
something. All right. You mentioned social media being good and bad.
Yeah.
What's a bad thing?
Bad thing about social media. Cyberbullying.
Okay.
But
What?
okay, I think cyberbullying is a bad thing, but I think like we got to turn these computers off. We got to like control this issue.
Oh, I think the use
Like-
of social media in general is horrible.
Yeah,
I think the
like,
part that everyone's so goddamn connected to what's going on in my fucking life
it's-
and everyone else's life is dangerous.
I think the internet is a curse and a plague.
yes.
I think it's a curse and a plague and a blessing.
No,
at
that's
the
amazing.
same time.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
You're
It
right.
can
Okay,
be.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, you're totally right.
It's
got-
as good as it is bad.
Yes.
As most things
Yes.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
guess using-
life is good and bad.
I should have thrown
You
a
know?
better word in there too.
you can
That
OD.
wasn't just curse and
You-
plague.
you
But
can-
like it's got its perks, you know.
Didn't want
but,
to do
like,
it into the mic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So here's my issue with social media, is I think it's fake,
yes.
right? And I think it's played off as real.
Yeah.
So like I think Instagram. I agree. Instagram is the thing.
Yes.
It's the thing that's working the
It's
best
the
right
best
now
social media, yes.
because it's working because it's quick.
Yep.
It's simple.
It's simple. It has.
pictures.
It took all the best
Pictures.
from everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, it did.
it took the best from Facebook. The best thing was the connections.
Yeah.
From Snapchat was the stories.
Yeah.
And then it's got its pictures, which are
Yeah.
which
Which
are
is what we wanna
four
look at.
three.
And somehow
they're
Snapchat's still killing it.
I
too.
know. I don't use it.
I don't
anymore.
even go.
I don't
I
really
just go on
either.
Instagram now.
I
I
respond to
Snapchat my
people's
friends.
Snapchats.
I'll
That's
Snapchat
it.
Same.
like my friends and stuff. If I'm like out, I don't do stories too often.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, I want to be friends with you on Snapchat.
Are we friends on that?
I don't know, but
Oh,
we need
well,
to be before you go because
I'll just search this up.
I like your Insta.
Oh, Hefty Snaps. Oh, shit, dude. Okay, so
Follow
I created
Hefty
that.
Snaps
yeah.
on Instagram.
I created that shit like a year ago,
gold.
and I stopped using it for about 6
great.
months, right? And I'm starting to get back into it. I tried to post 1 or 2 a day, like 1 in the morning, 1 at night, or maybe just 1 throughout the day. But I
So
have
good. It's
so
so
many good ones, dude. There are some that I have.
They're
that-
just so ridiculous.
They're so stupid. Some of them are genuine. Some of them are just ridiculously stupid. Some of them are
like
funny.
stupid, like little skits that aren't funny, but that makes them funny.
But that makes them.
You know,
I think that's the whole
like
thing.
the
around
one of
Happy
you
Snaps.
sneezing is my favorite one. We did
Oh
one
my
recently.
god! I didn't post it.
We
I'm
did
gonna
it
post
recently.
it right
and
now.
it's
Wait,
Josh.
what?
We did it recently. He hasn't posted it yet, but it's a snap
I'm
we
gonna do
did
it right the
recently,
fuck now.
and
You're
it's
gonna do it
just
right
Josh
now?
right
Oh my
now.
god, that's great.
It's just
Please
Josh,
do.
and he's kind of looking like he's about to sneeze, and he just turns his head and goes, "Ah!" And that's the whole thing, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, no, I did. I
It's
did
so
post it.
stupid, but
It's
it's
right
so
here.
good.
That's
I
amazing.
posted it on May 8th. Oh fuck! I locked the screen. Hold on. There we
It's
go.
so it's
This
just
is one of the
ridiculous.
best
and
ones
it's
I've
stupid,
ever
and it makes
seen.
sense. It's like the kind of people that would like Monty Python, or the kind of people that would like Josh's Snapchats.
And that's it.
Who's doing the video?
It's
me.
So the premise behind Hefty Snaps, though, at first it was supposed to be just videos from my Snapchat
Right.
log, but so many other people have taken great videos of me doing stupid shit. So I just figured I'd
It's
lump
just
it all in.
anything involving like him in
Anyone
some way.
anything involving me doing something stupid, which is like pretty much every day, all the time. That's what's going on. I'll find my favorite one while we're talking, and I'll show it to you because there's one in here that I just
Yeah, those
love.
are great.
Yeah. So anyway, we were talking about social media,
well,
right?
No, see, this is the stuff I think that makes social media a little more bearable.
Yeah.
Like you don't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And you
that-
shouldn't
and
have
That's
to.
the problem.
Yeah.
Once you start taking it seriously, that's when it becomes such a big issue. Because then you get the people too that, you know, they're always looking for like the affirmation on social media and stuff, and then like their self-esteem just like shits the bed, and then other people's egos just skyrocket, and it's
Yeah.
just like a shit show.
I remember
It's like you gotta approach it like what it is, you know. It's just something like it's the internet. Like it's not like a super serious.
But it's
No,
weird. Some
like,
people make money
thing.
off of doing that. So
And
it's
Yeah.
like a whole,
cool, man.
there's-
Cardi
Exact-
B?
Yeah, and that's or
Dude,
like you know
David Dobrik. That
Yeah.
guy's a millionaire.
bro, PewDiePie, bro.
He gives people
Yeah.
cars. He gives people BMWs.
I think
makes more
PewDiePie-
money than half the people on the planet. Like
PewDiePie is like, I love him.
yeah.
I can't help it.
He's hilarious.
I
And
can't-
like his
What about
videos are
Markiplier?
entertaining.
Do you like Markiplier?
Markiplier's funny.
Fucking
There's
love
this-
Markiplier.
there's this YouTube
I watch
family-
him all the time, dude. He's
There's
so
this
good.
YouTube family that my girlfriend's obsessed with. They're called the Ace family,
Yep.
and they just
The
vlog.
Ace family.
That's all they do is like make like day in the life videos. Essentially, like it's just like videos of them going about their day, and it's like really they're just naturally entertaining people, which
Yeah.
is why it makes them so much fun to
Yeah.
like watch and stuff. And they have these two kids that are the most beautiful children I've ever seen. Just like like physically flawless.
I totally get
people,
it. It's like
all of them.
real reality television.
Yeah, exactly. But there's no. It's just them doing their thing. And so now, just through YouTube, you know, they just got a bunch of subscribers from like posting videos of them doing things. And now they have this. They just bought these two massive houses and like combined them into one. And like his wife for his birthday was like, I'm gonna surprise him with a customized Rolls Royce car.
Oh my god.
Like they're just loaded now. Because they
Because they just
famous,
recorded their
they
life.
randomly got famous. They got
people
lucky.
like
You
people
know?
like to know that they're normal.
Yeah, and they're just like, you know, both the guy and his wife are just like incredibly attractive people too.
Yeah.
You know, so like, and they're likable personalities, so it's like it catches on.
I'm
It's like
sure
a Kardashian
they know
situation.
what they're doing, though.
Of course
you
they
know,
do.
Like I'm sure they put a lot of hard,
It's also a
hard
business.
work
I
into
mean,
that. You know?
Yeah, especially when you get to that point and you're making that much money, then you're meeting legitimate people, and then it becomes like a
Yeah.
business, and you got to work and you
Yeah,
got to do it.
I mean, but I'm sure they're doing their kids up and they're telling
Oh,
them how to
yeah.
act.
I'm
and,
sure,
You know, I
like-
mean, that's how that works. You know. It's,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Then it's like, you know, his whatever 2 or 3 year old daughter will come into frame with a Gucci T-shirt on and like shit like that, you know, like
They're
it's
making money on
it's
that.
so funny.
Yeah, in like 2009, I moved into a house and we didn't have cable, and I just was like, decided I'm done. I'm not getting cable.
Yeah.
And it was for a little while I didn't know what to do with myself because I was used to having cable television.
Yeah.
And I started watching the Shaytards on YouTube. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
No.
It's a family. So this guy Shay Carl, he had a YouTube channel, and he started vlogging his family. And they're like, I think they're like Mormons or something because they have a lot of kids. And
Yeah.
I just was like fascinated by it. I couldn't stop watching
Something like
it.
Honey Boo Boo. Remember that shit?
Honey,
It's all that,
That
kind of
was-
shit where it's like you think about it and it's like, why is
But
this
that
so
was a
like
non.
appealing?
It's
But
interesting.
it is.
We were just talking about a perfect family. Like that's like. I feel like people watch Honey Boo Boo to see like some kind of like escape
Oh,
from
yeah.
normalcy of their own families.
I think
you
that's
know?
it's the same reason people watch like the Kardashians and like things like that.
Gene
you
Simmons
know?
family jewels.
I want to get you guys' input on this because this is a claim I've been making since maybe 2013, 2014.
Let's hear it.
So I think that traditional media is done.
Yeah.
So like I think that. So what do you guys watch any TV?
I don't have cable.
Barely.
Okay. Do you want? So you don't watch any of the major news networks?
Nope.
You don't watch.
Oh God.
Right.
no.
Okay.
Sometimes.
I stopped watching news.
The news
like
makes me
3
depressed.
years ago.
Do
I'm
you
like-
watch YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, right. So
I watch local news sometimes.
It's like what we were
Sometimes.
talking about. I feel like
Right.
our like this upcoming generation of us and like I guess the millennial generation like right before us and all that kind of stuff is just so different.
Yeah.
Than this upcoming one. So it's like we were talking about earlier with like the beer versus the blunt coming home from work thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when my grandparents were kids, like pot was like a hardcore drug. That
Yeah.
like if you got caught with it, like you got jail time. Like
It was
that
like
shit was really
1/4
intense.
as strong as it is now.
I know,
Too.
and now
Yeah,
it's
right.
like you get these like super strains of pot that are like you just get ripped
It's
out of
like-
your mind.
yeah.
And like it's legal in half the country,
do
and by
it.
the time we're like old with kids, it's gonna be like that. Like daddy's gonna come home from work and smoke a joint.
Yeah.
you know, in
that's
front
what
of
it's
the
gonna
TV.
be.
Like,
Yeah. That's exactly what it's
yeah.
gonna be.
It's because
Yeah.
people are just like.
We're gonna go back to having smoking rooms. Like
yeah, but it's just
gonna be
it's,
for pot.
yeah, it's gonna be for pot instead
I'm-
of for tobacco.
I
Like,
also think that YouTube is more. It's a better thing today because you have more control over what you're watching. Because like let's say on cable when you have Spectrum. I also think Spectrum is the worst company in the world. Oh my god! I hate
completely
everything about
100% agree
Yeah,
with you, and
I
I will
hate-
go to court.
I will go to
saying
court
that.
with it. Yes,
PTSD
they are a
from
bunch of
trying to
Yeah,
set up
they
Wi-Fi.
suck.
They are a bunch of crooks.
Oh,
like
Lord.
literally a bunch of capitalist pigs.
Our
Like,
roommate
it's
that
disgusting.
had our Wi-Fi bill last year talked with Spectrum for like an hour and a half to get them to bring the price down because they were trying to charge us for like just bullshit we weren't going to use.
Yeah, it's fucked
like they
up.
were like, well, this is for the installation of the router. We were like, well, we bought our own router, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can
Yep.
take that off the monthly bill. Also, why are you
They don't
billing me
like that
monthly for someone installing something once.
It's
just wild.
I call for my parents sometimes too. Like I'll call from my parents still have cable, so I call them and I'm like, look, you know you're getting one over on these people, right? Like they don't need cable, but they have it, and they'll try to talk to me, and I'll be like, look, I'm a software engineer. I know more than you about this. What you're telling me, I know more about this than you do. No, it doesn't cost this much.
It does not cost.
Either give them a better deal, or I'll switch them.
Yeah,
I will. It's nothing off my back. I don't care if they don't have cable for a week.
That's the way to do it.
You know, I don't care if they have to wait a week for Verizon to come and hook them up. I don't care. They can't get Verizon. It doesn't matter though.
They don't have to know that.
They don't have to know that. But yeah, so I have to call once a year for me. I have to call once a year for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to call once a year for anything.
No,
like that.
It's so stupid.
Because you don't call once a year for your electric, for your water.
No, you just pay
for
the
your
fucking
propane.
bill and that's enough.
You fucking pay the bill and they don't overcharge you for bullshit.
Not only
but
that,
Spectrum does.
They don't. It's the only industry that charges you more for the same thing next year.
Exactly.
Instead of being like, oh wow, we have had a technological better. It should be cheaper.
My Wi-Fi is slowing down in my house actually from Spectrum. They slowed it down, and we never had this problem as a family.
They
before.
do it right before you.
So
pay your
now
bill.
we have to get some high speed kind of thing. When
Tell them this. This is for anybody listening. Tell them, I log speed tests every hour. I have a log file of speed tests every hour. I can see when I'm not getting the speed that you're advertising. You're going to fix this, or you're going to pay me back for all the amount of time that I wasn't getting what you were advertising I was getting. It's not true. I don't actually do that.
But what they're doing isn't true either.
But they don't know that, and they do know that they have that problem.
Yes.
Dude, it's just horseshit. It's one of those things where like I live in a 1-floor apartment.
Wow.
Like our
Check that
Wi-Fi
out.
is in my living room, and my bedroom is off of the living room. And if my door is closed, I can't play Xbox.
Yeah.
Because the connection is fucked. Like that's
Which is
how
insane.
bad our
That's so
Wi-Fi
stupid.
is. Like, and as soon as I open the door, it's like night and day.
It's
Because
bad though
just
because
like,
you know here's what concerns me about them though is that like as we move towards YouTube or whatever it is, we need them more.
because you can't go on YouTube without Wi-Fi.
Right.
You can't watch
So,
Netflix
like,
without
I'm
Wi-Fi.
trying to like
You
hook up
can't-
with RPI right down the street and be like, hey, give me some of that T1 internet.
That's genius, bro. Wow.
But
Wow.
So okay, but back to YouTube for a second. I agree. I stop like I don't see the point in watching regular television anymore. And so I think that one of the things that YouTube doesn't understand is how much bargaining power they have.
Yeah.
Because if I were running YouTube and advertisers were telling me we're going to pull our ads, I'd be like, go for it. How are you going to reach these people? How are you going to reach people under the age of 30?
Yeah.
You can't.
You can.
They're watching me,
Yeah.
right? They're not watching what you can advertise on. I'm in charge now. Like that is what I would say if I was running YouTube. But they always seem to cater to them. They always seem to be like worried about the advertiser going to pull. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, well, you may have a bad month, but they're going to have a worse month. And then they'll be back.
I think there is some like kind of because our government and everything like that is an older generation. I think these tech companies have this fear that they will be bulldozed kind of by this establishment. You know what I mean? Because he's like, I mean, you could see the hearings when they were like, the guy from Facebook or whatever. And,
Zuckerberg.
These people were like, they didn't even know like how any of it worked. And these are the people who run our governmental system. You know what I mean? And they're like asking him.
It's actually really terrifying.
Yeah, it's very
the dude
terrifying.
like asking, "Can you know where I am?"
Yeah,
Like,
and it's like
he's like, "That's a pretty like hard question to answer." Like what?
No, but at the same time, it's like it tells you. I mean, even my parents, dealing with my parents, like it's like they really don't know how to use the technology.
Yeah,
and that's because I grew up with it and they did not. So I teach them how to do it.
I had this
and
conversation
that's interesting.
with my girlfriend the other day because I was sitting there and I was just trying to get to like, I don't remember. I was trying to open Netflix on my Xbox and I clicked the wrong app, so I like opened it and closed it and moved around and went to this other one and opened it. And we were like, if someone from like 1920 watched me do that, they'd be like, "What the fuck just happened?" like,
holy
it's
shit.
crazy, you know? Like that concept is insane.
Well, you know what? What else is even crazier? What's even
Like
crazier?
it's just like, I'm just so used to it at this point. I'm like, click, 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 move, delete, click, and I get to it, and it's just like, But you think about that shit to when everything was like.
And then you complain about it taking too long.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, it keeps fucking crashing and shit, and it's like.
Dude, I was watching E3 today, the recording of E3.
Right.
Crazy shit. We're all kind of Xbox nerds here, but like.
I'm a PlayStation dude. I apologize.
That's okay.
it's
The new
okay.
Call of Duty's gonna have cross-platform, so it's all right. I don't know if you play Call of Duty, but the new Xbox is called Xbox Scarlet, Project Scarlet. That's gonna have 4 times the amount of speed that your Xbox One has right now. So you just said it was so quick to click out of an app and go to a new one. Imagine that times 4 with the new Xbox.
I'm still gonna complain that it's too slow.
Because it's never enough. I was getting
Because
to
the
that.
second you give developers more room,
Yep.
they use it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, they should. It's the way.
It's
the way
like
it
with
is.
the iPhone, dude.
It's also one of
just
those
like
things
with the
people get
iPhone.
greedy. You know, look at it. Like I had an iPhone 3. Like if you look at that, if you gave someone an iPhone 3 today, it'd
like,
be like from
"Whoa,
the Stone
that's
Age,
a
and they'd be like, "This
dinosaur."
is a piece of garbage," you know. And I remember getting it and being like, "This is the fucking future, man! Like this is
Yeah,
like
right.
crazy."
I remember when the
no,
first
those
iPhone
like-
came out.
Dude, I got an iPod Nano.
I was your age,
and I was
actually.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
dude,
shit.
I had-
You
Yeah.
know, like,
I was your age when the first iPhone came out.
wow.
Really?
2007.
That's crazy.
Maybe I was
10.
22, so I was a year
10.
older.
I had an Envy Touch when the iPhone came out. An Envy Touch.
I had an LG Neon with the slide
yeah,
up
dude,
keyboard.
yes.
I had a chocolate.
Oh, I had a
I had
pink
the
chocolate.
LG Shine.
Yeah.
With
The
the
LG
Oh no,
Shine.
I didn't have a chocolate.
Yep.
I had the
Your-
razor. That's what I
yeah.
had.
The
that
razor.
like rectangle
Yep.
fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Razor, yeah, definitely.
Oh, that
All the
was
teenage
sick.
girls had those.
I had my sister's. I got my sister's after she got a new one. It was bright fucking pink,
Oh,
and I was
dude,
in like
that's
5th
fucking
grade,
sick.
and I only had it because my parents were like, "Hey, if you're like," because I was starting to like go out by myself, and hang out with my friends. They were
It
like,
is-
"If you need to call us." Like,
It
that's
is
what it's
so
for.
funny because when the iPhone came out, I was like, "What a luxury to be able to pay for data."
Yeah,
You're
right,
like, what
yeah.
I can't pay for that. And then I bought an iPod Touch because I thought, well, I can use that on Wi-Fi. And now it's like, what do you mean I don't have unlimited data?
I know. It's like, and it's like I remember being back and being like, "All right, I can't." Like text too much because if I go over this number of texts in a month, like my parents are gonna get charged and I'm gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
And then like I'd be like, all right, like I can't go on internet at all, or my parents are gonna get a mad charge. And then when I got my first iPhone, I was like, all right, it's limited. So once I get that little notification, I have to stop. And now it's like our Wi-Fi went out for a couple days because Spectrum is stupid. So like I'd be laying in bed, just Hulu on my phone, just fucking going
Data,
to town.
data.
Do you guys?
But I have unlimited data,
Yeah,
so it's
so
like,
that's
who the
nice,
fuck
man.
cares? Like, it's just
don't.
crazy
So
how
that
things
gives me
change,
anxiety.
man. Like,
when am I close to the cap? I don't know. Like shit.
What's your cap?
I don't like. I'm
well,
not
and we were trying to
actually sure.
when we switched over to Verizon
think
kind
it's
of
100
recently and got a new
gigs,
phone.
maybe.
Jesus
I don't know what the cap
Christ.
is.
We,
Not
See,
sure.
I get 10 gigs by myself a month.
I think
Holy
that's yeah.
which
that's
is
what I
like
get.
okay, but check this out. My dad used to freak out at the family. We had 10 gigs for the 5 people in our whole family.
Holy shit.
5 people to share, so we each really got very
Like 2 gigs? Yeah.
two
Two
about.
fucking gigs,
And
yeah.
so, but then I guess it just my sister kept using it and I kept using it. Of course, I'm like doing all this stuff all the time, traveling around with you guys, and I feel like being on the road really
Yeah.
affects that.
Oh, yeah,
especially.
Yep.
And so
when
I
you're
got
not.
home and I was looking at the plan stuff, and my dad had raised it to 50 gigs since last time, and I was
Holy
like,
shit.
I didn't even fucking know, Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
and it's
kind
not
of
something
yeah,
you realize when you're. I mean, especially when you're not paying for it.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
Yeah.
just consume it, man. and
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, just
yeah.
Dude.
all the data.
Data.
I got T-Mobile,
Oh yeah.
and they have if you keep it under 2 gigs, I think it's 2 gigs, you get a kickback. You get money
Oh,
back. So
that's
if you can do it. I've never done it.
That's hard.
That's a
Because
small
Wi-Fi.
My dad does it like every month.
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, because
Yeah.
I have unlimited data, that I don't think about it. I never think, like, no matter where I am, I know that I can do anything on the internet.
Well,
because,
yeah.
like, my dad, we were talking to my dad, and he was like, "Oh, I was gonna get, like a not unlimited plan, but like they said the amount that we use, like, would go over it anyways." And we were like, "Yeah, but we weren't concerned about it."
Right.
It's like when you don't have a cap, I can sit in my bed and watch Netflix on my phone without Wi-Fi, But like if I had a certain amount, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Like
it was interesting to watch happen because I grew up I was fascinated by computers and the internet at a very young age, you know, and I remember having the dial-up modem with AOL. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you've got mail.
Yeah, you got mail.
I remember chat rooms. I remember ASL.
AIM.
Yeah.
AIM.
AIM.
I
dude,
remember
that
my
was
sister
the
getting
shit.
grounded off. I remember my sister left her AIM up one time, and I was
Oh,
just
God.
talking. I was like 7, talking like mad shit to her friends. And they all think it's her, and she like, I thought she was gonna stab me. But she was so pissed.
The difference was it was two separate worlds that never intermingled. You know, like you might go home and talk to a girl on AIM.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a separate world. The internet was a thing you could only do when you're sitting in front of your computer at home.
No,
Yeah,
you're
Exactly.
Right.
It was very separated from the rest of
And
the
it was
world.
weird because I was more an internet person than the average
Yeah.
person. So
Yeah.
like I was into gaming and I would
Yeah.
play like
Yep.
I remember talking to people from other countries
Yeah.
and you know it was fun. And then to see that sort of because it was never available to most people because
Right.
most people weren't going to take the time to do that
Or buy
But-
the router.
right,
Buy
right.
the yeah.
But then as it became like in your phone and everybody has it in their pocket,
'Cause
it's
now-
like
yeah, now
those
everybody-
two worlds are now not
'Cause
separated.
now everyone's got in their
at
pocket
all.
a computer that's 3 times as powerful as any computer from when
Hey, you could go
in
to
the
the moon
early
with that.
2000s, like like. It's just like
Yeah.
like if I were to find like a computer that my family had in like 2001 and compare it to like my phone, like I would rather have my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like in a heartbeat.
For sure.
So it's
well,
like,
yeah. Nowadays,
all-
if you
yeah.
can't do it on your phone, it's like a frustration. You know, if someone
Literally.
sends you like the concert tickets from this weird website, and you go on your phone, and it's like kind of being annoying. It's like,
or like
oh
doesn't
my
really
god,
work, and you're like,
I-
God, this sucks.
Yeah.
Happened to me at the Hosier concert that I went
Yeah.
to. The tickets wouldn't like show
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
in my wallet, and I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like, come
It's like
on."
the end of the world, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I want to see Hosier.
it's just crazy. How,
Do you guys
like,
know who Philip DeFranco is?
No.
He has a YouTube channel. He's
No.
pretty popular. All right, then never mind. We won't go there.
Oh, okay.
He does the what is the name of his show? I think it's just the Philip DeFranco show. I don't know, but he does like a news thing, a daily sort of news, like very quick, 10 to 20 minutes long usually. A lot of it's about things happening in social media or YouTube or whatever. But the reason I brought him up is because the New York Times put out an article this week that was about how YouTube radicalizes people.
Oh,
And it was like one of those things where you scroll down and there was like a collage of YouTubers behind the text, and they all disappeared until they had a couple left. And the implication was that YouTube was driving people towards bad people, which
oh,
isn't true.
no.
But also Philip DeFranco was the last one on there, and if I could, I at some point go watch his channel. It is the most non-issue thing I could possibly think of. Like
Yeah.
there are so many people I could be like, this would be a person you'd want to put on there as
Yeah.
controversial. This would be a person you want to put on there. But no, it's just bizarre how the New York Times is doing that.
Yeah.
But
That's weird.
That's
Yeah.
another thing that I've been worried about for years, because when I realized the old media is dead, it's like there's a lot of people who make a lot of money off of these things,
Yeah.
and they can't translate. They can't move onto YouTube.
Right.
You can't. CNN is never gonna work on YouTube.
No.
No one's
Because-
gonna open YouTube every morning to
But,
watch their
yeah,
morning news.
But
Right.
so many people still watch CNN.
I know.
I know,
so
but
many people.
but I don't think it's gonna last.
no,
Because
I
when
don't
you
think it
guys
will
when you
either.
guys are of the age where you're ready to start watching the news or care about that, which I'm not telling you,
the
should.
majority of what I get from the news is online. And when I say online, I don't mean like random ass Facebook articles from a
Right.
booty website
Yeah.
with ads all over the fucking place. Like it's like the station's websites.
I feel you.
But like that's where I'm reading all my like I don't watch the news. I read
Yeah.
up on
Yeah.
it when I'm going through stuff. Like
But that's under attack. It seems
I know.
like it seems
Yeah.
like to
Yeah,
be
it
that
is
that's,
under attack. Well,
but
there's-
it's better. It
There's
seems
that
to be
chance of
Yeah.
contamination on online though, especially on Facebook. Like even on there was Facebook
Charger?
and then he needs a dual charger.
I only got the outlets.
Damn.
No, that sucks.
Never mind. Sorry.
Sorry, man.
Return.
No, there's a.
actually.
Oh, there you go. You get a USB drive. Oh no, is it? You have the pouch. You have the pouch. Oh
He's
man,
gotta.
Yeah, give me your phone.
technology.
Wait, where'd
man.
it go?
Oh, good lord, careful. Dude, I love how the little aux jacks are in the table. That's so neat.
I tried to get this space. The whole goal with this space was to. Oh, you want to charge this thing? I have one in my truck that's not mine.
Oh.
You can use that.
You can use
Wait, I'm sorry. I figured you could edit this out. We've been at it for.
Nope.
Nope. He's like, nah, you're fucked.
We've been at this for a while here. I was hoping that was a reasonable request.
You're
there.
good.
All right,
I'm
cool,
kidding with you.
cool.
That's
You're good.
awesome.
What was I saying? Oh, the space.
Something about
So the goal was at first I was doing this podcast with some guys inside my house, and I was just like, it needs video. This isn't interesting, you know.
He's just checking on it.
It really is life and death. When you're in that life, bro, it's.
Yeah, I feel you. I can go get you some cigarettes from Ben.
No, thank you. I did a year abroad in Spain. Okay, I don't need any cigarettes anymore.
That's fair, dude.
Yeah,
Dude, when I was anywhere in Europe,
I'm all
they
set.
smoke
Everyone.
so much.
You said you're from.
It's better
you
for
went
you.
to Ireland.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
good, but
Where'd
it's
you go to
definitely
Ireland?
better for you.
First I went to Edinburgh for a couple
They
of
always
months.
go.
Edinburgh?
That's
Oh,
Scotland.
yeah,
That was
Scotland.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then I
history
went
there.
to Dublin for
Cool.
most of the time I was there. I did go to Galway for
My
a day.
mom's from Dublin.
Really?
I'm a citizen of Ireland actually too. So
Oh, you're wearing the right colours.
man, yeah, the green. Like I want to represent everywhere I go.
No one in my family is from Ireland. I'm just super Irish, though.
I believe that.
My ancestors are from Ireland.
Wait, so
what are you?
me? I'm Irish.
You're Irish.
Irish.
Just three
I'm-
white Irish.
I
I'm Irish,
Like-
a little bit Native American actually,
have
and
all that
Scottish.
too.
Yep, I'm a little Native American, Irish, and Scottish.
Irish and Scottish majority.
Oh, also very
the word.
French Canadian. I'm more French Canadian than anything.
I
Really?
am
I'm more
most-
Scottish than anything. I think Scottish and
Yeah.
Irish are pretty split.
Yeah, French
Yeah.
Canadian and Irish is me.
Yeah, you should go to
I'm going to
I
Ireland
wanna
in
go.
March.
Really?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
for spring break, I'm going to Ireland. Next
That's
week.
awesome.
Which is wild. Yeah,
I can't
But
wait to go back.
I really want to
I
go to
wanna go.
Scotland. So my
I've
last
never
name is
been.
Agnew, which was like a clan, like a Scottish clan, a really long time ago. I did a shit ton of research one day because I was just really interested. So, it was their battle cry, was their name. So people used to just like shout my last name and then slaughter people. Yeah, exactly. Which was dope. I thought that was so cool.
That is cool.
But then
you
I
gotta
found
work that
there's
into your
this-
act somehow.
I know.
Just
But I
bring
found
someone
out
up on
that there's
stage and
this-
scream your name and slaughter them while a
There's
song's
this
playing.
castle called.
Castle Black.
No, it's like lock.
like
It's
Wolfenstein.
lock something like LOCH, like
Well,
lock
Lock
Gnaw
is like
or
a
something like
Lock
that.
Gnaw.
Wasn't that like a ship? That might not be it. It's something like that.
I
But
don't
it was
know.
nicknamed the Agnew Estate because it's like where like all my like ancestors
Really?
like lived, and it used to be. I think it's privately owned now
Can
because
you
some
do a
asshole
Scottish
bought it
accent?
out. I can't.
They're
I
hard.
can't. That's
It-
hard.
It's a
it
hard
is.
one.
But you used to be able to, if you could prove your Agnew heritage, you could stay in it for free. But now it's privately owned, so you can't do that anymore,
That sucks.
which is shitty. But
I loved Scotland when I went.
I want to go.
I
Really
went to
Yeah.
Edinburgh. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been.
I want to
It
go
is-
and wear a kilt.
do it.
I want to wear a kilt.
My
Do it.
friend that's
Do you
Do it.
not wear underwear with that, or do you?
Oh, you do you, man.
my friend, I got a buddy from back in Glens Falls that's in this like bagpipe
Yes.
band. His name's
Yeah.
Brennan Dowd. First of all, filthy bagpipe player. Second of all, wears a kilt because he plays the bagpipes. And his pinned tweet on his Twitter is like, the next person that asks me what's under my kilt is getting flashed.
Oh, it's great. I've always wondered. I don't know if that's something you wear with undergarments.
I feel like it's
and
a
not-
skirt. Like, I mean, it's not. People are gonna get mad at me for saying that. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's
skirt.
not a
But
skirt.
it's essentially it's the same concept
No,
as a
but
skirt.
it
So
is
like,
It's a
functionally
man's
a
skirt. It's
skirt.
it's functionally
it's
a man's
literally
skirt.
functionally it's the exact same
Or a
thing.
skirt,
So
don't
like,
have to
I feel
genderize
like
it.
girls wear underwear under skirts. I'm assuming, or guys. Don't judge.
sometimes.
But
Sometimes,
like-
sometimes not. I
Like
think it's a
everyone.
preference or comfortable.
I don't think it's
You know?
preference. Because like one wrong blow with the breeze, and you're just showing the whole world what you got going.
Maybe
You
that's
know,
what,
like-
maybe that's what you want, though. I don't know. Maybe you're into that.
If you go to Edinburgh, I highly recommend going there. If you go to Scotland, it is a beautiful city.
Yes, Scotland's
And-
on my bucket list.
And
Yeah, same.
there's Diagon Alley from Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Yes.
That's there.
That's
Like
Diagon
the
Alley.
real it is.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's so
man.
cool.
And actually, I did a couple tour things because I was a tourist.
Yeah.
And
what you do.
there's that's where she wrote the books. Was in
Yeah.
Edinburgh,
Ooh.
and there was a cafe. I didn't go to the cafe she went to because it's become kind of a tourist trap.
Yeah.
It was like lines, whatever. But
Yeah.
so there's a graveyard behind there that she used to walk through. And I got a tour of there. And this graveyard, because they ran out of space in the city to bury people, so they buried up. So
right.
So like you would be buried on top of your father.
Yeah, they took mounds of dirt.
Yeah.
And and there's
That's
actually
crazy.
there's a Tom Riddle buried there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! So
That's
wait, is that where
crazy.
she got that
Yeah,
from?
and also
No!
right next to this graveyard is this private school that has houses that she got the idea from.
Oh,
It's
that's
really cool.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
so sick.
really freaking cool.
That's
And
really
if you do
cool.
go,
That's
one thing
crazy.
I did this the last day I was there. I was really kind of bittersweet because I had a great time. I didn't want to leave. There's a mountain called Arthur's Seat, like King Arthur, and it's right outside. And if you do it in the morning, I did it the morning I left, and we could just hear bagpipes everywhere. You know,
that's
you're like,
so
cool.
sick.
up on. They're far away. They're down in
Yeah.
the city, but you
Right.
like to just hear them. I don't know if it was the day. You always hear them.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. It was
That's
great. It was a
insane.
great feeling. I did not want
Wow.
to leave.
Yeah, I
I
wanna
met so many
go.
people, so many cool people on that trip. I can't wait to travel again.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love Harry Potter. Oh my God.
Harry Potter is the shit.
It's great.
I
dude.
grew up like mostly my dad, just like was like, the nerdy sci-fi movies are gonna be your life for the rest of your life. And so like read me Harry Potter growing up, showed me all the Star Wars movies, showed me Lord of the Rings, like Star Trek, like all that shit. So it's all just like
I feel that.
like
I'm a big Star Trek fan here. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
I'm a
big
big
Harry
Star
Potter.
Wars
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
Star
Lord of
Wars-
the Rings?
Star
I love
Wars,
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are like top 3 movies of all time for me.
Yeah.
I'm actually reading Game of Thrones now because the
Yeah.
show.
I want to read
Yeah.
it. I need to read
Did you
it.
you watched the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What'd
Yeah.
you think?
Do we?
Yeah,
wanna,
what'd you think of
do
the
we wanna-
ending?
Are we going to get into this now?
Do you want to get into this?
We can.
I think the ending was disappointing, personally.
Oh,
I do too.
I completely agree with you.
Okay.
I was very very upset
Yeah.
with
I was distraught.
I actually so the same weekend that Avengers Endgame came out, which I don't know if you're into Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
Yep.
so I'm more into Game of Thrones than I am Marvel.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know?
But
So I went and saw Endgame, and I was like, "This is so fucking satisfying." Like,
yeah,
this is
how one of my friends described that movie. He was like, I wouldn't necessarily say it was better than Infinity War, but it was like a satisfying ending.
They
you
wrapped
know?
it up
it was
as
satisfying.
they should.
it was
I
just
felt
so
good.
good.
Like,
And then I went home, and I watched the 3rd episode of Game of Thrones, which is the one where
Battle
they
of
kill.
Winterfell.
Yeah,
right?
I that's where I lost it. Like for
Same.
me, I just
Me
was-
too.
After that, so okay, personally, I don't want to like say spoilers. Should I say spoilers in this?
I feel
Yeah,
like
go
if
for it.
people
Okay,
haven't watched
so
it at this point,
Arya
that's on
is
them.
like my shit from like season 2.
Who?
Arya. I was
Oh.
obsessed with her.
I was
Like,
cool with her killing it.
Especially, yeah,
I was
that
too.
was like the only part of the season I liked, but I didn't like how it happened. That it happened way too fast.
Yes.
And then after that, it was all just like rushed and shitty.
Yeah,
I felt
no,
like.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's-
You know,
so-
like everything was just so many things got overlooked, and like the thing that pissed me off the most is like so the end of season 7, big ass reveal that Jon Snow is a Targaryen. It didn't mean shit
Yeah,
at the
that's
end of the show.
irritating.
Like it
He
didn't
didn't
matter.
even get
It-
sprayed
yeah.
by
it
fire.
did not matter
yeah,
at all.
exactly.
He
He,
didn't get.
should have been
He
sprayed
didn't
by
get the
fire,
throne. He
dude.
didn't get burnt. He didn't nothing. It didn't mean anything.
If
And
you're
that
not
just
going to
drove
give
me
the throne,
insane.
at least set him on fire and let him not.
So
go.
that
maybe
was like
that's
the
why the
season
dragons
finale of season 7,
didn't
and then they're
kill
just
him.
like kidding. It doesn't. It
My
doesn't matter if
biggest-
you know that or not. Like
My biggest complaint. I wrote this whole big thing on Facebook. I think you saw.
I
it.
did, of course.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I wrote this whole thing because I'm a whiny little bitch. And I was
Me
like-
too.
I was-
the show's a cult. It deserves it.
right. So, but my biggest problem is everyone knows they needed more time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Another season, man.
Yes.
They
Even
needed- yeah.
10 episodes that are all over an hour long, I think would have
Yeah.
done it.
And even to be fair, they
Battle of-
basically made 6 movies. you
Yeah.
know?
They did.
So like I give.
I mean,
them-
the season
I-
was stunning to watch.
Yeah,
It was
but
beautiful, but like
when the creator
the
of the
story
books
was-
wants there to be 10 seasons, when HBO wants there to be 10 seasons, and you're done with it, then you just say, okay, well, my heart is not in this anymore. I'm moving on to Star Wars.
yeah.
So
Moving on to
Exactly.
Star
I
Wars.
was
so
just gonna bring
like
that
I
up,
gotta
too.
find some. Let's take a year off to find somebody else who can pick this up.
Right.
Right.
Instead of take a year off and make the worst ending of any. like I don't think it's the worst ending.
It's not
ever,
the worst
but
ending ever. Here's the way
No,
I
The
keep
Sopranos
describing.
is still a show.
In terms of the amount of disappointment, I think it's the worst.
Yeah, the way that
You
I
think
feel
so?
about
do
the
you,
end.
do you think Sopranos was just? I heard Sopranos is so much worse. I've never
I didn't
seen
watch
that.
it.
I actually don't mind the Sopranos ending. It's
Okay.
not satisfying, but it was never meant to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They-
Okay,
like
that's
like
what I
thi-
heard.
but this show needed to be satisfying.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
there's so much buildup.
Yeah.
There's
The
so
ending,
much
it's like,
like
I don't-
intensity.
Nah.
I'm not like necessarily upset with where everybody ended up. Like, okay, like with Jon
I'm mad
Snow,
that Jon Snow ended up
no,
back at fucking
because
Castle
dude,
Black.
he
dude.
even said when Tormund left that if he could go north with them, he would have right then.
Yeah,
and there.
but dude, it
like, and he's
doesn't
with
matter what
Ghost
he
again,
wants.
bro.
We're getting
No,
deep
you're
here.
right. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like the way I don't mind where everybody is. It's how they got there that pisses me off.
Oh,
Like,
Jon Snow has been my boy since day one.
I know.
He's been my guy.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like,
absolutely.
he just
He's
has.
been everybody's guy, man.
Dude, I got him on
He's
my
a hell of a
keys.
man.
But
He's got him on his keys.
I didn't
too.
need him to be the king. I didn't
have
need
no.
him to
No.
kill the Night King.
my
It's
little-
not about any of that.
My
It's
little
just
wildling
like
Jon Snow.
that's awesome. That's amazing. So here's another thing. I've made the argument that killing the Night King was the biggest mistake they could have done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like because
He's
When
so
they did it.
invincible.
yeah,
When they
well,
did it.
it removed the stakes.
Yeah.
It's like why are we moving so fast now?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have an imminent threat anymore.
No.
Why
Because
not be more
Cersei's a
tactical
threat,
about
but
this?
she's just
Right. Why
What's
not?
she gonna do? She's not gonna attack.
She's not going to
Winterfell
bring
that
back
quick,
everyone
at
that's
least.
died.
So
you
here's
know?
here's what I and this is not me saying this was my idea beforehand and it should happen this way.
Yeah.
This is I think an idea that happens to be better, probably not even the best one. Like there's probably infinite.
Oh, I've seen so many
way
videos
better
on what
ideas.
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other problems is Dany going bad like that.
Yes.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Right? So but what if they lost Winterfell, which I think they should have.
They should have.
I think they should have
They
lost
absolutely
Winterfell.
should have.
And then they fell back to the Greyjoys. And then they lost that.
Yep.
And then they fell back and they're falling back to King's Landing where they've been told that Cersei's going to help them.
Yep.
And Cersei helps them until Arya kills the Night King. And in this moment of triumph, where everything's fine, where she's lost so much shit, then they kill the dragon. Cersei turns the scorpions
Yeah.
on the dragon. Then I could see her losing her shit.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but that moment made no sense.
Right.
She-
But I don't think they could have beaten Cersei at that point. So if
I
all that
agree.
happened, I don't think they could have beaten Cersei without a dragon. I think they should
True.
have not killed that second dragon.
That's what I mean. They
Yes.
could have killed the second dragon
right yeah.
there.
Why did did that dragon just die
scout?
all of a
Why
sudden?
did Daenerys scout ahead? Why would you send your queen
They know the Iron
to
Fleet
scout
is
ahead?
there.
It doesn't make any
That's
sense.
just bad military
And just
tactics.
like with
Yeah.
no, just blindly.
It also doesn't like if anybody understands how line of sight works. If they can see you, you can see them.
And
Yeah.
and like, you know, you've got this like dragon, these two dragons, and dragons are notorious for being insanely fast and like untouchable. And you're telling me he just one shot through the heart,
Yeah.
first
Right.
try, dragon
And they-
didn't move.
But then,
like,
but
what?
but then they had arguably more of those scorpions pointed at her. They didn't hit him once.
Yeah, in King's Landing when she
Yeah.
burned everything,
Yes.
every single scorpion was.
I also
destroyed.
think it was tragic to.
I moved it a little. Sorry.
Oh my god!
I think I
Hit it with my
thought
chair.
I thought Jaime Lannister's storyline was one of the best.
Absolutely.
But like he should have killed Cersei.
He should have.
He should have killed Cersei. And that's another way that you could have seen it happen. Like you
Yeah.
could have if they had to fall back and then Jaime saw her turn on these people.
Yes.
And be like, no.
Exactly.
That would have been
Yeah.
so
Right.
perfect.
Like when he,
I still, if Daenerys lost her shit still, I think she should have died, and I think Jon Snow should have killed her. I think even
Yeah.
if she did go full Mad Queen, I think she still should have died.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he is the rightful heir to the throne, but he doesn't want the throne, so I don't necessarily think he had to get it.
Yeah, why was Jon Snow a wet blanket this entire season?
Yeah.
He did nothing.
Here's my thing: why the fuck is Bran king?
Dude, okay,
Why?
no, you got to think about this. You got to think about this.
Is that the disabled
You got to
kid?
think.
Is that the disabled
no,
kid?
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well,
You got to
because-
think about this shit like from like a political standpoint, man. Who better to lead the whole country than someone who can see anything that has
Anything.
happened
Right,
and
right.
will ever happen?
That's fair.
But here's
Like-
the thing: I would have been cool with that if if he said what happened happened. If Jimmy said what happened in the show, and Jaime killed Cersei and Jon killed whatever. If that happened, I'd be fine with Bran being king, because then at least you would know, even though Jon can have the throne, he couldn't have the throne in the way that it ended. They wouldn't have let him do it.
That's true.
So if he did have the option to be king and he still
fair.
turned it down, that would have been fine.
Again, it's not where everybody is. It's how they got there. That
Exactly.
Pisses me off.
That's true.
The fact that he wasn't
Like, I don't
able
mind that
to
Bran's king,
acquire
it's just the
his
way-
rightfully owned throne piss me off.
Yeah,
that's so
exactly.
dumb.
Yeah.
And that whole sequence where
That's
like
true.
Because of the Unsullied, dude. Fuck Grey Worm.
That was
What a
the
dick.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, she lost the Dothraki in like a day,
Yep.
which was like, that's
Like
fucking
that.
racist. You know, like,
Yes!
like you. Why do you have them? One of the okay. Here's one of in going into the season. I had all these. You know, I'm big on story. Story is
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
important to me, and
You should
so-
never sacrifice story.
right.
Ever.
So here's the beauty of what George R.R. Martin did, and how these guys clearly didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So one of the things, both John and Danny had, they were the ones who were on the outside of the world, like
Yeah.
outside in the world of chaos in completely different ways. So like the Dothraki were sort of natural. You know, like
Right.
like the humans
Yeah.
at like almost close to the animal. I don't want to
Yeah.
sound, you know what I mean? Like they're very with the earth.
they're barbaric.
Yes.
Very with the
Yeah.
earth, and then the free folk are the opposite. They're like, I'm in my own government. Like every person is their
Yeah.
own government. Where
Yeah.
they were more communal, and they had this consummated marriage with these groups outside of the world, and that had serious effects on them. And the story's called A Song of Ice and Fire, or
Yeah.
Fire and Ice, or whichever
Yeah.
direction it is. And this makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
you know. But then to kill off the Dothraki, it was like that doesn't make
And
sense.
it was just instant.
That
like,
doesn't. And also, how come her forces kept being like every time she supposedly lost lots of people,
There were more people.
she got more people.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't know where they
makes
came.
for good TV.
That was all their Dothraki. And I mean, yes, some of them rode back, but maybe like 40 of them rode back.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What's
Right.
40 Dothraki going to do?
And how come Jon Snow, who's famous for breaking, like doing, I'm gonna do the right thing.
Yeah.
And this is stupid, but I'm gonna do the right thing anyway. How come he didn't do that once this season?
Dude,
He-
I don't
know.
know.
He didn't. Even when he
Because
did
he
do
was
it,
whipped,
he was told
bro.
to do
He
it
was
by,
Yeah.
whipped. So whipped. Like,
Yeah.
he
by
was
his aunt.
By his aunt,
By his
which is what, dude? Like, that's great, but like, I mean, if she were your aunt, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
Amelia
feel it.
Clark,
Amelia
is
Clark
probably-
was my
is
aunt, man.
one of the most beautiful people ever alive.
Yeah.
Ever. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Did she survive 2 brain aneurysms during
She's
Game of Thrones?
badass. Yeah.
Most people don't even survive 1. She survived
She-
2.
how did she
like,
survive?
during the filming of Game of Thrones? I don't know.
What happened?
I have no idea. I didn't read more into it.
Yeah.
I should have.
I
Now
saw an
regret
interview.
it,
She
but-
did an interview with Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And he like asked her like, how did you know you were having a brain aneurysm? She's like, oh, you know. You just know that it's happening. Like, you get the worst headache ever. You start to forget like random things. Like, she had to keep reciting while she was having the first one on the way to the hospital. She was reciting Dothraki lines just to keep her mind sharp, because she knew that if she didn't, then she would start losing her faculties and like just like be brain dead. Yeah.
How is she so like sweet?
I have no idea. I don't know how she survived those two things, but she said she's extremely lucky. And it's crazy shit, dude.
Damn.
I almost had one at the end of fucking season 8, dude. I don't know. Like,
I almost
guess
gave myself a concussion after hitting my head against the ball.
after punching myself repeatedly in the nose. Like,
I remember I was at my girlfriend's like brother's house with a bunch of some people, and it ended, and we were all just like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
We were like, ugh.
I was waiting for them to drop like a 7th episode the next Monday, just out of nowhere,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
When
Remember when that didn't happen?
Yeah, remember when that didn't happen? Yeah.
Ben watched me watch the show because
Oh, it's great.
Ben doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
And so
It's like Connor, our roommate Connor watching us.
yeah, like he watched me watch the first episode he ever watched was the Battle of Winterfell, and I was like, this is not like the show. Like
No,
this is
yeah.
this is not a good introduction to this
No.
show, because this even if it's it's beautifully done. I
Yeah,
agree,
absolutely.
but it's not a good way for you to get to know what this show is. This is not what it's ever been like.
But you know what season 8 was too much like? It was too much like Godzilla. Like, have you ever seen the newest Godzilla? It's all focused on how epic everything is. Like, Godzilla's like 300 plus feet tall. And like all the shots in the
But
movie,
it's all about
especially
the
like
scale,
like
you
the
know?
Halo
Like-
insertion in that movie is beautiful. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it just reminds me of that scene in the Battle of Winterfell episode where the dragons are like up in the clouds, and there's like this storm, and the 2 dragons are up there, and like it's crazy. But you okay?
Yes, I rolled over my keys.
Oh.
And they got stuck in the wheel.
My point is, you should never, like I said before, you should never sacrifice story for Spectrum.
Agree.
You should never it. Yes, it looked great, but there is a way to do that.
I would have rather it looked a little worse and have been just like a kill.
Right,
Sure.
but if you know what you're doing and you have passion for it, which definitely the two guys that are making Game of Thrones did not have a passion for it anymore when season 8 came out, especially at the Battle of Winterfell.
I agree. They had a passion for making things look beautiful on film, but they did not have a passion for the story.
Which is important, but you can do both those things very well at the same time.
You can't do a show like Game of Thrones without being worried about the story.
I completely. And character. Like, the characters are everything in that show, and I felt like they ruined all of them.
Yeah, they did. At least a big majority of them.
But so did you like Endgame?
What the hell?
Oh, my God.
Like, that was bullshit, dude. Like, that was so pointless to the plot.
I remember, I was like when that happened, that whole episode, I was just thinking, how convenient that they, all of these ships got wrecked and everybody's on this beach, but somehow they got her. I don't know how they know who she is.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But also, why did everybody just know that she got captured? Nobody could find her, and they were like, "Oh, she got captured." I would have been like, "Well, she's fucking dead."
Right.
Like,
right. And then the same thing. Euron Greyjoy ended up on that beach.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, it's like that's
great.
Okay.
I'm sure
with
that's
Jamie. Duking it out with Jamie.
So, what did you guys think of Endgame then?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that was the first time
solid,
in a while that I've cried at the movie theater. I sobbed like a little baby.
What
I'm
was
not
your
even kidding.
What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment was the hammer.
Mine too.
Hammer.
I'm a big Captain
also,
guy. So.
I'm a big fan of. So I'm gonna relate this to Game of Thrones. The Red Wedding. Stuff like that, I love. I love being shocked.
Yeah.
I love being like in
just
that
being
state of mind.
totally blown away.
Just like there's no
caught off guard.
Like the Red Wedding. So just to like put that in perspective, like I know like everyone knows what that is that watches Game of Thrones, but like when that episode came up, when I started watching, he along with like 10 of our other friends was like, "Hey,
it's like you have season 6 or season 3.
Season 3, episode 9.
Yeah.
You need to let me know when you get there." And I was like, "Okay." So I did. And
then
like,
I'm on it. We were like, "You can't watch it without us."
I texted everybody. There were 12 people in our apartment watching me watch The Red Wedding because all the people besides me have seen it. So we had a watch party for Josh watching The Red Wedding. So they all
party to watch Josh.
Yeah, we all just sat there, watched the whole episode, and we were like, "Okay, yep, this is good." The last like 10 minutes, I was just like, "Oh my, no!" And it progressively got worse. I was like, "No!" And at the end, I was almost like sobbing. I was almost crying. So I love stuff like that. And the moment in Endgame that I'll never forget that like shocked me and like kind of gave me a little PTSD was when Thanos showed up at their facility, at their headquarters, and just blew the fucking place up. I was like, everyone's dead. Everyone is right now dead. Like everyone just died. I was like, holy fuck. And I mean, obviously they didn't, but that was like a moment of panic that I was in because I looked over to Zane and I was like, there's no way that anyone made it out of that. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, they're the Avengers, but like, they're dead. Like, holy fuck. That was crazy. It was just so blunt and unforgiving.
I was so impressed with Infinity War because
me too, dude. Like the ending of that, I felt the same way at the ending of that.
When I watched Infinity War, I was like, this is a feat. Like this has so many main characters in it. This has so many storylines in it, and I'm still engaged.
Yes,
I'm not lost.
Yep,
I understand they did a genius thing by making Thanos the main character.
Yes, absolutely.
It was a very smart move.
Yep, and
then they still did something. The end didn't shock me, but I was like, it had an impact on me.
Yes,
and so I was like, wow, that was really impressive that they did that. And then I watched Endgame, and I was like, that was really impressive that they concluded that.
Yeah, exactly.
That somehow,
because you thought it was concluded already, but then you're like, wait a second, no, everyone's dead. How are they going to fix that?
Right.
You know,
and in a satisfying
the quantum
way.
realm.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they did such a good job.
Yeah,
they did.
Shout out to Ant-Man, dude. Shout out to Ant-Man for bringing everyone the quantum realm.
See, that's one of the other things that they did that's so smart is that
Paul Rudd
in clutch.
Well, they're smart in like. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is one of the best movies in the Marvel.
I love that movie.
It's such a good movie,
and it's great because it's not as epic. I mean, it is. It is in the end.
Yeah.
But most of the story is just a bunch of misfits trying to get along.
Yeah.
They're just trying not to kill each other and have a family.
Yep.
That's great. And then Ant-Man is another he's a very small character, not just, but the stakes aren't huge on his.
Yeah.
They're not like worldwide or universe wide.
Right.
And they took him and made him.
It's great, man.
And
the way that they followed the comics was great. I mean, they strayed from it a little bit sometimes, but everything was. I'm sure, and I know Stan Lee worked on it until he passed away. But like, dude, that's exactly how he wanted it. I'm sure.
I think I might be done with Marvel after that. No,
I'm afraid I'm gonna lose interest.
That's
I'm
what
still
I mean.
really into
like,
Tom Holland Spider-Man though.
That's I'm gonna see that movie. That's true.
He's a great Spider-Man.
And I really like
because technically
really,
it's not
I
Phase
think
4.
he's got the whole like.
Technically, that movie is still.
I think he's got
because it's right after Endgame.
the actual Spider-Man personality.
Yeah,
because
they're mourning
Tobey
Iron Man.
Maguire.
In that
Tobey
movie.
Maguire sucks.
cool.
The first Spider-Man is great. The other two with Tobey Maguire are
the other
apes.
two.
What
are
about
still
Spider-Man 2?
It's okay.
Spider-Man 2 was
Spider-Man
great.
3 is
It's
phenomenal.
okay,
No, it's not.
Spider-Man
3
it's
is
not.
garbage.
Spider-Man 3
1 is great. Spider-Man 2 is watchable.
I will say they
like,
did
it's
a
fine.
better job with Venom than they did in the new movie in Spider-Man 3. They did so much better with Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, the Venom was creepy.
Having Topher Grace as Venom, that's genius.
Yeah, the
that's
Venom was terrifying. But and Tobey Maguire did not play Spider-Man the way that Spider-Man is
Yes,
supposed to be
he
played.
did.
No, he did not.
I feel
Spider-Man is
I
this
do
like
understand.
child, and he's sarcastic, and he's witty,
a
and he's a smart ass.
I don't
and that's
like
the
a
point.
sarcastic, witty superhero.
That's who Spider-Man is, though. That's his character.
I
And,
do understand.
If
Like
we're
I
talking about
liked
the
Andrew
comics-
Garfield more than Tobey Maguire, man.
Oh, screw
Like-
that. Those 2 movies?
I think 2.
Those
The
2
first one
movies
was
might as well
good.
not
The
even
second one
exist.
sucked. But
Yeah,
he had the
you're right.
personality.
Screw
He
those
had the
movies.
character. Man,
No,
you know?
he did
Nah,
not. That
I
was a
hate
weird
that.
Yes, he
mechanical
did.
interpretation
That's
of
like-
Spider-Man.
Dude,
That's like
compared
Edward
to Tobey
Norton as
Maguire,
the
he
Hulk.
did, man. I just think Tom Holland has like the beautiful.
I think Tom Holland is the
of-
Spider-Man we need right now.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire was the Spider-Man we needed in 2001.
I still disagree.
Or 2002.
I mean,
It's the best we could get.
How old were you
Yeah.
when
You know.
when 2001?
I was like,
Oh, I was 4.
yeah, it was
Okay.
4.
I didn't watch that. Right
Was
when
that
it came
2001?
out.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was a junior in high school
Okay.
when that came out, and that was for us. It was epic. It was like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it was like
it was
it
epic
was-
there
for
was
me at first,
there-
too.
But
I
I
liked
do,
it,
but
yeah.
I do feel you because he isn't really playing the
He's
witty,
not playing Spider-Man like,
the,
like Spider-Man is
sarcastic,
supposed
quick.
to be.
No,
He
but
did
he's
fine,
playing a
but-
real life interpretation, which is what those movies completely started out as.
See,
Yeah.
the way
Just
Okay,
making
yeah,
it
okay,
real
yeah,
life.
yeah.
the way
because
I
it was
look, I
impossible.
That's
compare
fair.
that trilogy, and I'm not saying that trilogy is as good as this next one that I'm going to say, but I compare that in terms of like reality standpoint to the Dark Knight trilogy. So the Dark Knight
True.
trilogy is my favorite set of
Yeah.
superhero movies of all time.
Oh,
The Joker,
similar.
There's no
The
beating
Dark
it.
Knight, that is my favorite movie of all time and one of the greatest of all time. I personally think.
Do
Yeah,
you think
definitely?
We were talking about summer blockbusters. So I don't. I've already told you I really liked Endgame, but I don't think of it like a summer blockbuster.
I don't even.
It's even though it's going to make a ton of money,
And
it's
it
probably
already
going to
has.
beat Avatar.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think of it as a summer blockbuster the way I do The Dark Knight. Like when The Dark Knight
Absolutely.
came out,
It was a big
Absolutely.
deal.
Right.
For like all
Yeah.
age groups
Right.
and all
I-
people.
All
Yeah.
people ever.
I saw that movie like 4 or 5 times in theaters. At the time, I remember there was no IMAX anywhere here, and
Yeah.
I remember reading that Christopher Nolan used an IMAX camera for a
Yep.
couple scenes. So I drove to Rochester just to see the
Yeah.
movie.
Wow.
It was like that's how much I liked that movie.
It's my
was
favorite movie of
insane.
all
Yeah.
time, dude. My favorite
That
movie
trilogy
of all
is
time.
ridiculous. And the Dark
The
Knight
music is flawless.
Oh
the
my God.
villain and the acting are flawless.
Me and Ben were watching it's one of the greatest scenes of any movie ever is the interrogation scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. And the
dude.
music in that scene is so subtly perfect. It's yeah.
It's so good.
Dude, that movie is insane. That movie is
Dude.
like I feel like that movie. I wouldn't even necessarily say that's like one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. Like I'll watch it endlessly.
That
but
movie
like,
changed my life as a young boy.
but like I will
I'm
say
not-
that
I'm
I
not
think
kidding.
that is the closest thing to like a perfect movie that I've ever
Yes.
seen.
Yeah.
Is The Dark Knight.
It's-
Like it's the
it's for
closest
every
thing to
person.
having no flaws.
And to have
Yeah.
it be about Batman
It's crazy.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Having someone like Christopher Nolan who
Yeah.
hasn't made a bad movie
Yeah.
ever, like, oh my God, to have a whole goddamn trilogy on one superhero, on the superhero that has had like the
Superhero
worst,
yeah.
the worst spring of
Oh,
movies
come
lately.
on, dude. The 60s
Yeah.
Batman.
60s. Oh, Adam
So-
West, of course,
so
and
good.
Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
and
good.
Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Flawless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack
Batman
Nicholson.
Forever. Fuck that. Whatever
The
the,
George
other
Clooney
one.
one is-
George Clooney.
No
That's
bueno.
ridiculous. No,
No
you know who
bueno.
Batman
was-
is? It's either Adam West, Michael Keaton, or Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
It's
Yeah.
just like with the Joker. Like, if it's
I have
not.
one more. The guy who does the cartoon, the voice
Oh,
of
of
the
course.
cartoon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't
Oh,
remember
see,
his
that's.
name
I was
right
just
now.
gonna say for the Joker, I would say obviously Heath Ledger and
Number one, Heath Ledger.
yeah, Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson for cinema are the greatest ever.
Yeah.
But
Mark
Mark
Hamill.
Hamill,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, bro.
that
Yeah.
voice is
That
terrifying.
cartoon wouldn't
Yeah.
be Batman.
Like,
without
that
Mark
is
Hamill.
Did you
out
guys
of-
play
that is something out of the
any of the
nightmares.
Arkham games?
No, I
little
want
bit.
to.
I never
though.
owned
No,
that.
I played
I
them
played
and
them.
they
Did
were
you really?
fantastic.
I
Oh,
the
I
first
heard they're great.
The Asylum?
yeah, the first game is beautiful.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
man.
one of the most perfect games. I mean,
Yeah.
I like
Which one
City.
is that? Arkham
My
Knight
cousin-
or
Arkham Asylum, the
Yeah,
first one.
I
cousin.
played the first
I
one.
watched my
only.
cousin
Yeah.
play it.
I've
It
played
was
all of
crazy.
them. I've played all of them. A lot of people like Arkham City better because it ups the scale, but I think it
Okay.
actually doesn't benefit from the
Asylum's
scale.
big though, man.
It
It's
is big,
huge.
but it's not so big that you know everything.
Yeah.
It's not like citywide where you have
Right.
to like you need directions to get where you're
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Arkham Asylum is small enough that you can navigate it, which makes it more creepy in a way.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know all the spaces. And fuck the end of that game where you were like, I'm ruining this game for you,
That's-
but
No,
like
it's okay.
there's throughout it there's like a Joker doll with a TV,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and he talks to you through the TV, and at the end
It's
you
like
walk
Saw.
in and he's actually
He takes the TV off.
he takes the TV off his head and it's him.
And it is
it's-
Mark Hamill.
it's Mark
right?
Hamill.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's creepy.
Dude, Mark Hamill's Joker voice is terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Like out of a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
Have you ever seen him when he does
Yeah,
it?
he
Like,
just
Oh,
he
dude,
gets
it's
full
his
like
crazy.
whole body goes into it.
like it's terrifying.
He's great, man, dude. Mark
he is.
Hamill.
He's voicing Chucky in the new Child's Play.
Yeah,
movie.
yep.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be
Jesus.
crazy.
I love Mark Hamill.
Me too.
He's
one of my
great.
favorite people ever.
Yeah.
Great.
I
Yeah.
follow him on Twitter, and it's my favorite Twitter page. Either that, or I also follow Matty Healy's dad,
Yeah,
who's the
yeah.
singer of the 1975. And
Yeah, I
follow
know who
his
Matty
dad.
Healy is, but I didn't know his dad was
I
popular
think
on
his.
Twitter.
I think he just has a Twitter because he's a dad. Like he just posts things like a dad, but
Is that his
because
Twitter
his
handle,
son is.
Matty
About
Healy's
his
dad?
son.
I just think it's just at Tim Healy.
He shares Matty Healy
All he
stuff
does
all
is
the
like
time.
share pictures of like the 1975 and stuff, and then like post pictures of him with like family. Like it's like if you're like if like my grandfather, it's like what he would post.
Yeah.
But because his son is Matty Healy, he has like 60,000 followers. So these random like posts of a picture of him and like his wife with like a typo in the caption has like 15,000 likes
Yeah.
and like 2,000 retweets and shit. And I'm like, what?
It's great, man.
It's so
It's like your
funny.
kids become famous,
badass.
and
I
then
know.
you do too. Like,
It's so funny.
That's badass.
yo, on the topic of Batman, have you ever heard my Joker impression?
Ooh.
No, I want to hear it though.
Really? Okay, hold on.
You were the Joker for Halloween.
I was the Joker for Halloween. Okay, so I love doing it into a microphone because it sounds really good. It's really hard to like project it sometimes.
It's really good.
So I'm just gonna think of that. I'm gonna do that meeting
Zane,
scene.
can you slide that way a little
Wait.
bit? You're sliding out of frame.
Sorry. No, actually, I'm gonna do the scene where he comes into the party. So he's like, "We made it," you know, and then he like opens the elevator and he's like,
It's pretty good.
"Now, have any of you seen Harvey Dent? You know where he is? Do you know where he is? Where's Harvey?" And then he walks up to Rachel, and I love in that movie Aaron Eckhart, Harvey Two-Face before he's Harvey Two-Face, like when he's talking to. Or no, when he's Harvey Two-Face, he's like, Rachel! You know, like, you know what? I just think that's so funny. And the way he yells in that movie is just so overdramatic. It's like,
He's like, nah!
yeah, like, Rachel! You know,
Yeah,
and
he's
then,
like spitting.
and then what's that? He's in the alley with Batman there, and he's like, what does he say to him? He's like, I don't even know. But
Just
he
do
just
your
yells.
Joker.
Yeah, okay. I can
Just
talk
your-
about the movie all day, but anyway. You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy grabs the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. he comes to me with the knife, and he goes, "Why so serious?"
You got like the tongue movement
Yeah,
down
you got to do the lip lick, you know.
Yeah, he does
like-
that.
Sticks the blade in my mouth. Why so serious? Let's put a smile on that face. And why so serious? And he fucking
Wait,
stabs
you gotta
the
do
dude.
the laugh.
Oh my god.
That is so good.
That takes a lot of like energy for me.
fucking
Whenever I do the
terrifying.
laugh, I do it like it
That
makes
is
me,
so good.
it
The
makes
laugh
me
is
really
so
dizzy,
good.
man. Like doing the laugh makes me so dizzy.
It actually makes you crazy.
It does. No,
It does.
It makes me like
That's
lose too
insane.
much air from my lungs.
Oh my
Like,
god, that was so.
you have nothing, nothing to come at me with. Nothing to do with all your strength. And then, of course, the worship, you know, like Christian Bale.
My favorite line of his is like, "Your garbage is steals from mine."
Your garbage is still, don't talk like that. You're not. You're not. one. Even if you like to be.
You're one of them. You're not.
You're not. Even though you like to be. You know, he's like, what's up? Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. You know? Tonight you're gonna break your one rule.
Oh my god.
It's usually, I promise, it's usually better. It's actually not that.
no,
great
you're
right
doing
now.
it.
No,
Pretty
it's really
fucking
No,
good,
it's
man.
really. I haven't done it in a long
You're doing.
time.
You
so-
should do a
He had to
reenactment
do-
or something
he had
like
to do, like-
redo this scene.
I
He had
had
to do
to.
this voiceover
Yeah.
project thing.
Really?
Where
Yeah.
it's like he had to put it to like music and shit and like sound effects. It was terrifying.
Yeah, I had to do it for
was
like
really
a
good.
record production class, and I did that too. Not knowing that someone else did the same exact thing, the
Yours
same
was
exact
better.
scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I didn't know that people like still did this. You know.
That like for years after that, people were doing the Batman. Like I did the
Dude.
Batman voice. It's like
Yeah.
I like the
And,
one when
like-
he's injured. I like the one he's like, Harvey, not everyone could be as good as you. You know, like when he's injured.
I can't quite breathe through this nose.
We did it
He talks like someone's got two fingers up his nose.
or the college humor video when he's like, "Oh, we did it. We had sex in a way that would make you cringe." No, I don't want to hear it. Ass mouth vag. He's like, "Damn it, dude. Bad. I was born in darkness. Molded bad.
Yeah, his voice was very like.
You think this gives you power over me?
I'm just an old pop down from the store. I'm gonna pat your head as I tell you old stories. Like it sounds just
Dude,
like that.
I love Tom Hardy though. He's
Tom
fucking
Hardy's great.
awesome.
I did too. Big Tom Hardy fan.
I was just wondering why you'd shoot the man before throwing him out of a blade.
When was the last time Tom Hardy was in anything?
Revenant.
Batman. No, I'm
Venom.
just kidding.
Revenant. He was in the Revenant.
He was in the Revenant.
He
That
was.
was a
He was the best.
fantastic
I
movie.
think
Yeah.
he had. I think he did the best
He
acting.
was a
in that- in
hardcore
that.
character.
That scene with him in the fire.
So good.
I have
I-
not seen it.
You have not seen the
I don't
Revenant.
even know what it is.
What about Lawless?
wow.
Did you ever see Lawless?
I did not see Lawless.
So that's a movie about three brothers. It's like Shia LaBeouf, this other dude that's in another Shia LaBeouf movie. I don't know his name. And then it's Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy's like the older brother that like. So it's like the 1920s, right? And Prohibition's going on, and they're bootleggers, and they live in like I don't know Alabama or something, dude. And like they get involved with like all these politics and like all this like legal stuff because they're bootleggers. It's a crazy show, dude. There's like these gangsters and like, oh my god, it's a crazy movie, dude. It's great. That's some of Tom Hardy's best acting as well.
I'm down to watch it. I'm
It's
gonna
on
try to watch it
Netflix.
soon.
I'm pretty sure.
What, Lawless?
Lawless, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
a big
some
one.
of his best acting. Some of Shia LaBeouf's best acting too.
Shia
I
LaBeouf.
like Shia LaBeouf.
As crazy
too,
as
man.
he is, dude,
Yeah.
he's a solid
He's a
actor.
great
Yeah.
actor. You ever see Disturbia?
Yes.
Well, that
Sick
movie's-
movie,
that-
dude.
That's like officially like a classic from the 2000s.
That's
Have
a
you
classic,
ever
yeah.
seen
Yeah.
his interview on I don't know, one of those late night shows? He tells a story of when he got like arrested at this like party.
Oh, I did see that.
It's
It was on like Conan or
hysterical
something.
just hearing
yeah.
him talk about it because he just does not sugarcoat it, man. He just
No.
says exactly what happened, and it's so funny.
He knows he's crazy, and he just
He just
accepts
plays
it.
off it.
Yeah. And he's so easy to troll. That's
He
the thing.
is,
Like
dude.
That
he's
Shia LaBeouf song, man.
yeah.
You ever see that one?
Yeah,
with Shia
actually, I
when,
met
like-
that guy.
Really?
There was a band called Tally Hall, which I was obsessed
Tally
with
Hall.
in college. Yeah, they were a quintet, and
cool.
their shtick was they wore different colored ties. So they
Oh.
wore a suit and they wore different colored ties.
Nice.
And I used to go see them anytime I could, because the music scene wasn't huge here.
Yeah.
So like, and one of the red tie came up to me before a show and talked to me, and like I was like, oh, that's cool.
So that was here?
Yeah.
No way.
And then, so the yellow tie, he was more, yellow and red were more the two lead singers. And yellow, that's the guy, Rob Cantor. He was who wrote the,
They're like,
yeah.
Cannibal,
Yeah. He has some other good songs too.
yeah, dude, that video at
yeah.
the end when the one person in the audience stands up and starts clapping and it's just Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
like,
Dude, that video is so funny.
It's
so good. It's
Yeah,
so good.
what?
We used to,
Who wrote that? Someone.
his name is Rob Cantor.
And is he's from here around here?
Oh no, he's from Michigan. He's from,
Okay.
but they would tour here.
Okay.
that's
I'd
cool.
go to like they would come through from Boston to Northampton to
That's so funny.
Albany to Syracuse.
Wow.
Driving me
Yeah.
crazy.
You good?
Nah.
What'd you do?
Oh, God.
So I have 2 tonsil stones right now.
Tonsil stones?
Tonsils. You ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, so I'll show
It's
you.
like a buildup of
Do you get
calcium.
grossed out easily?
I actually have seen them. I have.
You've seen them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because I didn't know what they were until I started dating my girlfriend. She loves those pimple popping videos, and it's disgusting. It's
No, that
absolutely
video is
repulsive.
literally
You guys
gross.
must make out really severely.
No,
just
it's
said this
disgusting. I hate that shit.
Dude, if
dude.
my
It's
girlfriend had
so
tonsil
gross.
stones, no way. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
kissing that
no,
until they're
like,
out.
right?
No,
that
I'm
it's a
kidding.
good thing that she's like loves gross stuff, but still gets grossed out by my farts for some reason. I don't understand. But anyway, I had no idea what tonsil stones were before I started dating her. She showed me a video of someone pushing it out of their tonsil. Like you just basically stick something back there and push it out, and it comes out really easily.
Yeah.
But I have a horrible gag reflex, so the doctor tried to do it, and they can't get back there, so I'm just gonna let it fall out.
That's what she said.
Okay. And
No, I'm sorry.
so I have 2 of them right now, and they don't hurt. They're just really uncomfortable because like it feels like something's caught in your throat and you
Yeah.
can't swallow it.
like
you know?
like when you try to swallow a pill without water. And it
Yes,
kinda
that's
like,
exactly
Yeah.
what it feels like.
Yo,
and
I
it's
did
so-
that once. A super quick side note.
Yeah.
Swallowed a pill without water once. Got stuck in my throat for 2 days. Migraine from hell for 2 days. Don't
Wow.
do it. Okay.
That's terrible.
I like freaked out earlier today because I was eating cherries while I was doing stuff, and I had the seed in my mouth.
Oh,
And I
God.
forgot it was there, and then I breathed in really severely, and it went right back into my throat, and I was like, oh.
Jeez.
I do, dude, I've done that. It's so scary. Dude, choking is terrifying. I choked on a mozzarella
It's in
stick
there
when I was
somewhere.
like 8 years old. That was terrifying. My dad had to give me
Like
like,
string cheese, man.
dude, the string cheese when it's
That
hot.
shit'll get you.
When it's hot and stringy, like it just gets caught in there, and I couldn't breathe. I was choking to death. So like my dad had to give me the Heimlich in front of like 20 people at a pizza shop.
Your dad's
So-
awesome, by the way.
My dad is awesome.
I got
His
to talk
dad
to
is
your
awesome.
dad last
yeah,
weekend.
yeah, he said he talked. He was like, "Who are you doing a podcast with?" I was like, "Jimmy Decembo." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, man.
He's
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
He's
great.
definitely your dad.
He is definitely my dad.
No question.
You saw him, and it's like, yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
Josh's
that's
dad.
definitely
That's-
Yep. Yeah. When people tell me I look like my mom, I'm like, yeah. Have you seen my dad? You know, like I don't know. Like it's funny. My mom will walk behind us. Like we were in like Disney one time, and it was like maybe like 2 years ago or 4. I don't know. But I was walking right next to my dad, and my mom was standing behind us. She took a video, and like it's like a mirror image of like us walking, and I was like, oh man, like not that I don't want to walk
No.
like my dad, but I
Dude,
was
that's
like, oh,
that's
man.
like my mom and my sister though. Like from like the back, if you just see
Yeah.
them, you
Yep.
can't tell.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
difference.
Really?
It's wild. Yeah, that way, and one of my aunts too, because my mom has.
I know which
has-
one.
My mom
I know
has
which
3
one.
sisters.
I know, yeah, yep.
And she has one sister that's the exact same height with the exact same hair.
Yep.
So like if they're turned around,
And
it's
just like everything. Like that
Yeah.
chick just looks exactly
yeah,
like
you know
your
exactly
mom.
what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow, that's
It's
nuts.
They could be twins. They're not, but they could be.
They could be
Damn.
It's
identical
terrifying.
twins.
There's
yeah.
like 3. My mom and 2 of her sisters look super similar, and then there's one that's just like doesn't look anything like them.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Oh, I wonder how that happened. Nah.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Conspiracy. Yeah.
No, that's funny. It's got to be a blessing for a dad for your kid to look exactly like you.
Yeah, I guess.
I look.
Yeah.
Oh, you should see pictures of my dad when he was So my dad's bald
looks-
now
yeah.
because age. But when he was like 18, like it's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. When
It's
my dad was
so
younger
weird.
too, it looks.
It's like scary.
Yeah.
Like
It's uncanny.
Like my dad's like brother, like my uncle or something, will post a picture from when he was like 20.
Yeah.
And it's like scary. Like I'll look at it and be like, that's me. Like
That
the
is
same hair,
That
same
is insane.
tall, lanky, like
Yeah.
it's weird.
That's crazy.
I'm glad I got my height and like my build from my dad though, because it makes life easier sometimes. You know, I don't know. When
I just
like,
come from a tall, scrawny family.
Yeah, like when you have to lift heavy things, you can.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
You know, you won't get as hurt as easily.
Mm-hmm.
I
Must be
mean,
nice.
you
Yep.
know, yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm broader shouldered.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yep.
yeah. Yep.
Although when I buy shirts, I have to like get one size up because my shoulders are very wide.
It's annoying.
And it pulls everything
Yep,
up
yep.
because the sleeves are never long enough. And you're like, well, what do I do? You know, so I have to. I'm really an XL, but I have to wear double because, you know, my shoulders.
I do understand that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it sucks, man.
You know, I wanted to say this because I didn't get to talk to you after the show. I saw you last weekend.
Yeah.
That was badass. Like you
What?
had a 3-piece kit.
Yeah, it's all you need, man. It's kick, snare, hi-hat. Yeah, that's all,
That's
you
you
need.
had? You didn't have
Yeah.
any other cymbals?
No, I didn't need them.
No, and you
Sure.
were using your hi-hat as
Like
a
a
as a
cymbal.
crash sometimes.
Yeah. You know,
And
it's
it was really cool when you started banging on the side of the bass drum. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like theatrical. It was fun to watch. It was
I just I like to challenge myself. I like to, you know, because when I first started playing in a band, I did like typical 5-piece kit, and then I did like I got cocky and did the whole rack system thing and had like 3 toms on the rack and 2 toms on the floor, and then like 6 different cymbals. and,
two
like,
floor toms.
2 floor toms, yeah, and then like snare drum, hi-hat, 2 crashes, a ride, a china in the middle, a splash on the side. I was like,
Did you have a wood block in there?
I did at one point. I had a cowbell, I had a tambourine, dude. I was like a one-man percussion band. Like, it was crazy. And that's great if you want to do that, but you don't want to carry all that to a gig all the
Right.
time. You know, it's hard enough setting up a 4-piece kit that I use now, you know. And I mean, drums are just a
It's
nuisance.
a tight sound. If you listen to like a lot of new modern music, a lot of the time snare, kick, hi hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's all that
Yeah.
Wolfpack
Especially
uses all the
with
time,
like,
you know.
It's kind of nice.
you listen to Billie Eilish at all?
Yeah.
I've been listening.
So it's a
to
lot of
her.
electronic drums. So a lot of it's like just sort of beats with like they'll have different little like sound effects and triggers and stuff. But it's like you get a hi-hat sample, you get a fat kick sample, and you get like a tight snare sample, and
And a cymbal hit every
you're
once in a
good,
while.
man. Like
Yeah, that's another thing that's very interesting because it used to be when somebody had electric drums, you knew,
Yeah.
and it like didn't sound very good.
Right.
You
No,
know,
like,
electric
now you
drums
just need a
nowadays,
4-year
if you
degree to
use
know.
it right,
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely
like
know.
I love the like low end of things. So like
Yeah.
I love when like the kick drum punches you in the stomach and the bass like shakes your car, and
Yeah.
like with like especially with the production on stuff like Billie Eilish in the 1975, it's like it's all not all, but it's heavily like sample replaced, and they throw in like the electronic kicks and the drums and everything's kind of, which I'm not saying that takes away from it, but I just love that sound.
Yeah,
If you do
and
it
the samples
right.
are so good.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
have to have
that-
good
yeah.
like
samples,
quality.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing when I was watching you. I'd never thought about the sound of a snare as much as I thought about it that weekend.
Dude,
That
it's
was-
amazing what drums sound like when they're so naked. You know, when you're so exposed in that kind of a gig. You know, I mean, it's a small room. It's not a very big ensemble in terms of the drum kit. Like, you really just got to work with what you got. And I think that is like a challenge in and of itself, because I
Yeah.
feel like if you, as a drummer, especially if you can play with a smaller kit, you're going to be able to have more possibilities, because like you're working with less. But that means you have to figure out more combinations, and like you got to explore certain things.
all
like,
facets too. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to be a bass player with like all these effects and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Same with guitar. I mean, and we can play pretty clean for the most part.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what I mean. The years of acoustic gigs that we
Like
did.
it does not matter if we forget a pedal board most of the
Yeah.
time.
Right, and it's
You
one
can
of those
make it
things
work.
with the pedals, especially like with the lead. You want to make the effect work. You know,
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
you're doing it all the time,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have an effect on you. It's just
Exactly.
you're numb to it. It's
Yeah.
Right,
just,
exactly.
yeah.
Everything's got to have a purpose.
That's,
you know?
that's a tough thing with reverb.
Yeah, dude.
That's
'Cause
like
you want it.
there's-
You always want it, but
I don't
how
know.
much of it do you want?
I don't know
you
if I should say this. I don't know how to say this without. I mean, I'm not gonna say. Okay, I saw there's a band from Albany who's really, really good, actually, and I played with them at a show, and they were really tight. The drummer has, and I actually really liked this. Like a laptop setup and headphones on, so he has a click in his ear, because they have a few little samples and things that just
Oh,
get
wow.
triggered like throughout the song.
The drummers listen to a click while playing live.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
it's
Super
really because
common,
they have
honestly.
Yeah, a
Really?
lot of
and
drummers
they
do
have
now.
and they have like certain samples and things that are programmed into their into like the set and into the click, so it's all timed right. So he
going
stays
right.
on it so that everything comes in at the right time, and it flows
yeah.
really well. And they sounded really, really tight, and they were really fun to watch. They're really good, super energetic. Just too much reverb on. It was very like shoegaze pop, which is like cool. Like I fuck with that. That's really cool. But it was just too much reverb on everything.
I get it.
Like
reverb is dangerous.
and it's just to the point where like if you use it right, it's gorgeous. If you put it too much, it just becomes like just this mesh of like the aftermath of what you're playing.
And I
All just
also
kind of
think-
like
It's like
drowning
sugar.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sugar. You want the right amount.
Yeah,
like,
you put too much
If you don't
sugar
have
in
any
it,
in there, it's like that's not right.
yeah.
It's not sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you put even just a little bit too much in there,
And it's like, nah, this is
and
like you
this is
get an
now
upset stomach
gross.
and yeah, exactly.
This is now nasty. No, I think, and the thing with, and it's, I mean, I think that a really good indicator as to what you use for effects and how you use them, how you approach writing your music is really genre specific. I mean, like shoegaze and vaporwave and stuff like that is very reverb heavy.
Oh, yeah.
because it's a vibe. It's a
Yeah,
vibe.
It's a vibe.
Bro.
You can look at like
It's a
Hosier.
vibe,
Like
bro.
Hosier stuff
You know,
is
like-
super ambient and
Yeah,
reverby.
that's
but
true.
he does it right. Like he
Right.
makes it's not too
but
much.
the sound that you think is reverb is actually like so many other like
It's
things
so
that is
many
going into
things.
creating
That's
that.
my point.
Yeah.
They're not just
You know,
taking these dry signals and like
Yeah,
throwing a shit ton of
Right.
just reverb and they're like, you're good to go.
And
Like,
some people who play electric guitar alone, like just them singing, they need a lot of reverb because they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like it
and it's like
it just adds a lot.
Yeah, and I really like one of my favorite like sounds is if like for solo, like if you're doing like a solo acoustic song and it's like you and an electric guitar completely clean with a lot of reverb, that's really cool.
I
it's-
love that sound.
It's
Jeff
just
Buckley, man.
because it's
Yeah.
just the
Jeff
guitar.
Buckley.
When it's just the guitar and vocals though, and you have a lot of reverb on both of those, it's just this kind of spacey. It adds more
Yeah.
to it. But when you have two guitars and bass and synth and drums and everything is drowned in reverb, like it becomes too much.
Yeah,
Like-
drums and bass, just like, I mean, for example, with some like engineering stuff, you just don't put reverb on drums and bass for the most
Oh yeah,
part.
I put
mean,
a little bit on like a snare maybe
yeah,
or like a
maybe
hi hat,
the
but
cymbals
like
I mean, for the effect of giving that
Maybe
the
on
sound
the
of
room
being in a
mic.
room.
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, you never. I mean, if you put reverb on a kick, like get the fuck out. Like you don't
Yeah,
know
there's
what you're
no-
doing.
there's no
That's
point.
just
James
how that.
doesn't like reverb on the kick.
No, but that's
I don't
like,
either, but
I
I'm
don't.
just
I don't really.
No
either.
one who knows anything about it should.
No,
Right.
it's just
Because
not
it's-
necessary.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you should be able to get a kick to sound fat enough that you don't need the reverb. Especially because when you have like reverb on like the overhead mics or like the room mic, like you'll get the reverb from the impact of the kick.
Right.
So you don't really need just reverb of the low end tone of the kick.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's just not that necessary. I
Well, when
guess. And it's
people-
all
I never
you do what you
realized-
do, like whatever you want. But
I never realized until I started hanging out with all you guys how important reverb is, and like
yeah,
it's so important.
it's very
that, like,
delicate.
well, you also want the right reverb.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because like some of the effects just don't sound that great.
No.
No.
You know, you want, or even just the amp. Like you want the amp that does
Yeah.
it right, or like I don't know.
Exactly. Well, that's like I use
Yeah.
a Fender Twin Reverb, which is like one of the nicest reverbs.
That's awesome.
I've ever
Well,
gotten.
how does it
It's
do
just-
it? Because somebody was
I don't know how.
The twin reverb is
it's
like
plate.
it's like it's a
Is it-
yeah
it's plate, right?
It's a spring reverb.
It's not plate.
I
Excuse
think
me.
I think it's.
I think it's because
Can
when
you
you like
describe the difference between the two?
it's like so spring reverb is like literally springs.
Like the springs make
Like
a.
the springs make like this noise.
so
like,
when you turn it on, it just passes it over springs, or like
Something
I
something
don't really
that
know
hits
the
them, right?
mechanics.
Well, the springs
I
the
don't really know the
springs
mechanics
basically
of it.
get hit and they vibrate, right?
yeah,
And
so like a
Oh.
plate reverb, quote unquote, is like it's like theoretically it's a metal plate that kind of like shakes around
Yeah.
and makes reverb sound.
is it maybe it's attached to the cone or something? I don't
I don't know
I'm
how.
thinking-
I don't know enough
if you
about tech
had-
to
Well,
chime in
yeah.
on this.
No,
I
but
just
check
know
it out.
like
If you had
what
like
sounds
two
right
metal
to me.
bars and you had two right here and you had a metal bar right here and went
Yeah.
eventually that would give it
That
the
sound
sound
would,
would
like,
expand
chime.
Right.
and chime
Right.
and
It's
that's
the same
what
concept.
kind of
Right.
that
I
concept.
do
Or it's
know-
like if you're in like a metal box and you like scream, like you're gonna hear it bounce around and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's like that.
I do know that if reverb is shot on a twin reverb at least, if it's broken and you turn it up, if you turn up the reverb knob, you're gonna get this high pitched like squealing.
It's like a dog whistle. It hurts.
It's painful, and we learned that this past weekend at the show.
we
There's, like,
did this show. Oh my god!
my
For our
God.
internship, we were working this show, and the guitar player.
Terrible.
I'm standing there, and someone goes, "Zane," and I'm like, "What?" It's like, "You're a guitar player, right?" It's like, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you have a guitar strap?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't
He's
just
not
carry
playing
a
guitar
guitar."
today.
I was like, "I'm working." I was like, "I don't just carry guitar straps in my car." I was like, because the guitar player didn't bring a fucking guitar strap.
or a cable.
Yeah, and then so
Why?
then they're like,
I don't
This
know.
guy comes up to me, "Do you have a cable?" I was like, what? And he wasn't even using pedal boards, so he needed to remember one cable.
Yeah, that's-
and didn't remember
He
it.
had
And I was
one
like,
job.
are you kidding? Like,
He doesn't have a pedal board.
no, he
No, it
wasn't
was
playing
like
through a pedal board.
He was a rhythm guitar
Which, yeah,
player.
there were two. It was a
Oh.
reggae band, and there were two guitar players.
Okay.
So like with reggae, you can get away with that easily.
Yeah.
But like,
Seems
it's
like
like
a
you
douche
needed to
move now.
remember. You needed to remember one cable, and you didn't.
I just
like,
all
they're
I
Not good at
know.
remembering things, okay?
All I know
And
is,
I have
dude,
terrible memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
like-
think you've ever forgotten a cable.
I've
For a
I have
gig.
not. I've forgotten. No.
You forgot a
absolutely not.
cable for
Forgotten the
practice.
I've
whole
forgotten-
freaking pedal board.
Yeah,
I
you
forgot my
forgot
pedal board
everything
and a
for
guitar
practice one
and
time.
an amp for
and a
practice one
power
time.
cable for your pedal board.
Yeah,
You
I
forgot
got
your
I
guitar?
got to Josh's house to practice and got out of my car and opened the back door and I was like, "Fuck! All my shit I left in my garage."
Okay, but rehearsal's different.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can go home and get
Yeah,
it,
right.
and I'm not.
It's not
People
the
aren't
same
waiting for me
thing
to come up and
as-
set up.
right.
When you go to a gig, like,
Right.
especially if you're getting paid, which they definitely got paid like a lot. I feel like this
Yeah.
is like a pretty good sized event. Like they definitely
Yeah.
paid them a decent amount. Like, bring your shit.
The other thing is, it's funny, like, you know how experienced somebody is by watching them take everything down.
Take my
Well, see,
stuff
these guys
down
didn't.
so
These
fast.
guys didn't take things down because there's a crew to take things down. So they
Oh,
just
really?
went backstage and ate food.
Yeah,
I
the
just
big
that's
time.
like how I can tell how much people have played out
Yeah.
is by how fast they are taking.
Yeah.
shit
I don't
down.
talk
'Cause
to
it-
anyone until. So what I do immediately is I grab the first cable, coil it, grab the second cable, coil it, pedal board, and then after everything's done, I'll talk to like people.
No, I'm the same way because it's like,
Yeah,
especially because
every
after you do
time.
it so long, it takes 45 seconds for me to
Right.
get like all my shit,
Yeah,
not
you can
necessarily
get-
together, but off stage.
You
Yeah.
get
Like,
all the cables.
I can get all the cables
so then
together.
you
I can get
have
the pedal
these-
board in the bag, like
You can
closed
just
up,
grab the.
and then
big
all I got to
things.
do is just like grab it all and take it off.
Right, you
So
take
it's
your
like-
time a little bit setting up,
Yeah,
but take it
setting
down.
up, you know, I'll set it all up. I'll tweak everything to get it right.
Yeah,
Break
and
down,
you
just
want
like,
if you have monitors, you want them placed well. You want
Exactly.
things.
Oh man,
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta pee right now.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Do you guys want to call it quits? You want to?
I don't know. What
I'd
maybe you guys gotta drive back,
I gotta
don't you?
drive back.
Yeah, true.
I got
Yeah.
a long day tomorrow.
The other thing is,
Sure.
I'd love to have you guys on again sometime. Too.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
awesome,
fun,
man.
man.
Word.
All right, let's just call it. But
Absolutely.
before you
Let's
do
call it.
go, you can
Yeah.
pee, but I do have to take the picture of you guys. Before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Of course.
Should we plug one more
Yes.
time? What do we?
do whatever plugs you want to do.
Okay, so I'll do the plug for the album and the album release show. June 21st, we got our album "Things to Do Before I Die" coming out. It's dropping at midnight. The show is going to be the same day at the Linda in Albany, the Linda WAMC's performing arts venue, and please show up because we want you to be there. And yeah, it's gonna be cool. What else? Is that it? Oh, show starts at, I think doors open at 7. 7?
Seven.
Yeah.
7.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Doors
7,
open at 7. Show starts at 8. We've got Gabby Hammond opening up the show with an acoustic set, and I think we're gonna play some tunes with her too. And we got El Modernist, and then us. And it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasty Page, follow them on Spotify, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah,
iTunes.
All that jazz, all the socials.
Yeah.
You guys want to plug festivals? You guys wanna do?
Oh yeah, I'll do one. We're doing Alive at 5 in set.
July 25th.
Yep, July 25th. We're doing Rockin' on the River this summer.
July
going.
24th.
It's July 24th. I'm not really going in order. I apologize.
No,
I
just
don't know
keep
the
going.
dates. Schenectady Summer Night, which is our big one.
July 12th.
Yeah.
Day at the Lake, Lake
Day-
George.
Day at
August
the
10th.
Lake, right? August 10th.
talk
Dark
about
Honey
that
is
one.
also playing.
That's a
Day at the
festival that
Lake.
we did for the first time last year, and we
And it
decided to
was
do it
Day at the
again
Lake.
because it was super
Yes.
successful.
We throw a music festival in Lake George
It's
every year
11
now.
a.m. to 8 p.m. 10 p.m. 11 a.m. to
11 a.m. to 10
10 p.m. in Lake
Yep.
George and Shepherd's Park.
Yes.
Okay.
August 10th.
Yeah. It's gonna be
We're gonna
awesome.
That's
have
cool.
just
Yeah.
a bunch of
It's gonna be really
bands all day. It's gonna be crazy.
Where's
Yes.
Shepherd's Park? Is that like
It's right in the village.
It's right in the village.
Yeah, it's like right on the water.
right near the beach?
It's where
Yep,
that
right up
stage
there.
Yeah,
is.
I think it's where I saw Arlo Guthrie play once.
Probably.
I'm sure. It's like
Yeah.
the place
Yeah.
was it outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
it's
it.
like
It's like a folk
it's like
festival.
a
Yeah,
yeah.
all
It's
day
like
thing.
an
it's just a
amphitheater kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, we
great
did it
grass.
last year
Yeah.
and it was incredible. It was so
Yeah,
there were
it was
so many people and it was cool.
Yeah, it was wild.
So Dark Honey will be on that. We'll announce the lineup soon this month for sure.
Awesome.
All right.
That's it, man. That's all she wrote.
Cool.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for
Period.
coming on,
Yeah.
guys.
Of
This was a lot of
course.
fun.
This
We
was
had some
dope.
cool
Yeah.
conversations.
Back to reality.
That was fun.
That was fun as fuck. Cool. I can't.